Battle of Bataan. The year 1942 was a pivotal moment in global history, particularly in the Pacific theatre. It was during this year that the Bataan Peninsula in the Philippines became the epicenter of a significant military confrontation, the Battle of Bataan. From January 7th to April 9th, American and Filipino forces found themselves in a fierce struggle against a formidable adversary. This significant event was far from a typical military engagement. It was a complex interplay of strategic decisions, tactical maneuvers, and logistical challenges. The forces, despite being significantly outnumbered and undersupplied, showcased an unwavering determination. For over 3 months, they held their positions, demonstrating an extraordinary level of resilience and resourcefulness. This battle was not an isolated event. Its reverberations were felt far and wide, significantly influencing the course of World War II in the Pacific. It brought to the forefront the harsh realities of warfare, the toll it takes on the soldiers involved, and its broader geopolitical consequences. But to truly understand the significance of it, we need to delve deeper to explore the intricate details of this historic battle. So, let's embark on this journey together as we take a closer look at this important battle. The roots of this historic confrontation can be traced back to the events that unfolded at the end of 1941. On December 7th, the Japanese launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, thrusting the United States into the throes of World War II. This attack marked the beginning of a series of aggressive military campaigns by the Japanese Empire across the Pacific. In the immediate aftermath of Pearl Harbor, the Japanese turned their attention to the Philippines, a strategic archipelago that was then a US Commonwealth. On December the 8th, just hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, due to the international dateline, Japanese forces began their invasion of the Philippines, focusing on the island of Luzon, the largest and most populous island in the archipelago. The American and Filipino forces, under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, were tasked with the defense of the Philippines. The combined force consisted of around 75,000 men, a mix of regular troops, reservists, and Filipino scouts. They were up against a well-trained and well-equipped Japanese force led by Lieutenant General Mashura Homma. Despite the numerical and logistical advantages of the Japanese, the defenders of Bataan were determined to resist. The peninsula's strategic location, at the entrance of Manila Bay, made it a crucial point of defense. The troops were ordered to hold their positions at all costs, setting the stage for one of the most intense and prolonged battles of the Pacific War. The lead-up to the Battle of Bataan was marked by a series of strategic decisions, tactical challenges, and the sheer will of the defenders to resist against overwhelming odds. These events set the stage for the battle that would become a symbol of resistance and endurance in the face of adversity. On January 7, 1942, the Japanese forces launched a massive onslaught against the American and Filipino troops, which marked the beginning of the battle. The defenders were strategically positioned along the eastern coast of the Bataan Peninsula, a rugged, mountainous terrain that offered natural defensive advantages, but also presented significant logistical challenges. The Japanese forces, under Lieutenant General Mashura Homma, initially expected a swift victory, anticipating the fall of Bataan within 50 days. However, the defenders, led by Major General Edward P. King Jr., employed a strategy of delaying actions and defensive battles, aiming to buy time for the United States to bolster its Pacific defenses. The battle was characterized by a series of engagements, including the Battle of the Points and the Battle of the Pockets, which involved fierce fighting at various points along the Bataan defensive line. The defenders also launched counterattacks, such as the Battle of Abuque Hacienda, to disrupt the Japanese advance. Despite their efforts, the defenders faced increasingly difficult conditions. They were on half rations by the end of January, with food and medical supplies dwindling rapidly. Diseases such as malaria and dengue fever began to spread among the troops, further weakening their ranks. The lack of air cover and naval support also put them at a significant disadvantage. Yet, The American and Filipino forces managed to hold their positions for over 3 months, far longer than the Japanese had anticipated. Their strategy of prolonged resistance, coupled with the natural defences offered by the Bataan terrain, significantly delayed the Japanese timetable of conquest. By April, however, the situation had become untenable. The defenders were exhausted, starved, and outnumbered. On April the 9th, Major General King made the difficult decision to surrender, marking the end of the Battle of Bataan. Despite the eventual fall of Bataan, the prolonged defence had significant strategic implications, disrupting the Japanese war plan and buying valuable time for the Allied forces in the Pacific. Following the surrender of the American and Filipino forces on April 9, 1942, it transitioned into one of the darkest episodes of World War II, the Bataan Death March. This was a forced march of approximately 66 miles that the prisoners of war, or POWs, had to undertake from the Mariveles, Bataan to San Fernando, Pampanga. The march involved an estimated 76,000 POWs, comprising about 66,000 Filipinos and 10,000 Americans. The Japanese forces, under the command of Lieutenant General Homer, had not anticipated such a large number of prisoners. They were ill prepared to provide adequate transport, food, or medical care for the captured soldiers. It was marked by severe physical abuse and wanton killings. The POWs were subjected to extreme conditions with little to no food or water. Many were suffering from the diseases they contracted during the battle, such as malaria and dysentery, and the march only exacerbated their conditions. The prisoners were forced to march in the scorching heat, and those who fell behind or could not continue were often beaten or killed. It ended at San Fernando, where the surviving prisoners were loaded onto trains in cramped conditions for the journey to Camp O'Donnell, a prison camp in Capas Tarlac. The conditions at the camp were no better, with inadequate food, water, and medical facilities. The Bataan Death March resulted in a significant number of deaths, with estimates ranging from 5 to 18,000 Filipino deaths and 500 to 650 American deaths. However, the exact number remains uncertain due to the lack of comprehensive records. It was a clear violation of the Geneva Convention, which outlines the treatment of POWs. It left a deep scar on the collective memory of the war and led to war crime charges against the responsible Japanese officials after the war. The Battle of Bataan and the subsequent Death March marked a significant turning point in World War II. The fall of Bataan represented a major victory for the Japanese, effectively securing their hold upon the Philippines. However, the prolonged resistance had disrupted their war plan, delaying their timetable of conquest and allowing the Allied forces to regroup and prepare for the subsequent battles in the Pacific. The impact of the Battle of Bataan and the Death March extended far beyond the immediate military implications. For the survivors, the experience left deep physical and psychological scars. Many suffered from long-term health issues due to the harsh conditions and their lack of medical care during the battle and march. The psychological trauma of the experience also had lasting effects, impacting the survivors' post-war lives. For the Philippines, they marked a period of intense hardship and suffering. The battle had devastated the Bataan Peninsula, and the subsequent occupation had significant social, economic, and political impacts on the country. Despite the immense suffering and loss, the Battle of Bataan and the Death March have come to symbolize resilience and sacrifice. They serve as a reminder of the harsh realities of war and the profound impact it has on individuals and nations. The events at Bataan continue to hold a significant place in the collective memory of the Philippines and the United States, shaping the World War II narratives and influencing their post-war relations. The Battle of Bataan and the subsequent Death March are not just historical events. They are narratives of human endurance and the complexities of war. As we delve into these narratives, we gain a deeper understanding of our shared history. If this exploration of history resonates with you, we invite you to engage with our channel. By liking this video and sharing it, you help us reach a wider audience. Subscribing ensures that you won't miss out on future content, and hitting the notification bell means you'll be among the first to know when we release new videos. Your support is vital to our mission of shedding light on historical events. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history.